It is repetition which makes for perfection.
Here's a head. Let's just do something that is like a quick warm up. Okay. That's just a basic head. Nose line. Nose line. That's very technical. Alright. Oh, it's alright. I kind of felt a little defeated after Twitch lost one of my videos recently. And I filed a formal complaint. I have not heard anything back. So, more Bruce Wayne than Nightwing, but I can make it Nightwing. And by that, so this is Bruce, how I draw Bruce. Nightwing's younger, so I'm gonna, I give him a little bit, his nose kind of angled a little bit more, sticks out a little bit more. Slightly different expression. And then the back of his head, just thinner neck, reflecting his comparable youth to Bruce, and not as bulky. And then the hair comes like that. Okay, so just transformed it a little bit. And then he's got the mask. I just want to get this sketch started. This 5 marker is dry. Yeah, there you go. Seeing how this is a return to the stream, I'm going to take it relatively easy, just kind of get back in the swing of things. That will mean sort of getting used to drawing back in front of a camera. It's been a while. I certainly want to acknowledge the folks that have tuned in, subbed and supported the stream. We'll do that in a bit. And then kind of talk about the future roadmap. Like I said, PK's that 60 for 60 sketchbook. Just waiting on me to kind of design or approve the cover. We have an idea for what it will look like, and it'll be the death sketch, slightly colorized, still mostly desaturated, but I figure the cover should have something kind of different than what the interior had. Although, maybe I should keep it black and white for the cover. I don't know. Thought I'd do something kind of different. Second guessing myself already. And then he's got the sideburns. I don't even know if people wear sideburns anymore. Ear, lobe. There's no brush. This is just a. There is a brush version, this is just a thick, kind of hard nib marker. But I do have a version that is more brush-like, and then there's a version which has more of like a chisel tip. It's like wider and flat. It looks like the tip of a flathead screwdriver, and that's good for like calligraphy and stuff. So, Elena, you ask a question that I see very often, or some variation of, which is like, I need help with drawing XYZ. Any hints, tips? And invariably, as the people in the chat can tell you, the answer is the same. And unfortunately, it's not a very satisfying answer for people that ask these questions, because they are, in some degree, I think, asking for something that's some sort of elusive secret, something that once it's shared, it illuminates a light bulb that unlocks all sorts of progress and advancement and next levels in drawing ability. But the sad truth, as anyone can say, just draw. Crunchy boy, simply draw. You learn through repetition and practice. That's it. There's really no other way. No other way. You want to get faster? Just draw more. You want to get better? Draw more. You want to, you struggle with coming with ideas? Draw more. Your proportions aren't right? Draw more. The only, there is one secret I will share, is that if you're having issues with things looking wrong, like the length of limbs or one eye higher than the other, take your drawing, flip it to the light like this, and it's kind of like you see your drawing in reverse. And what that allows you to do is see it as if someone else had drawn it, not yourself. And sometimes you can see mistakes because you're looking at it from a different perspective. We are literally blind to our own faults. So we draw something and it looks fine. You flip it over to the light and you see things that you did not see before. Now there's fancier ways of just saying everything I just said there. Not so much the just draw thing. People, but that really is the answer. It's kind of like, hey, I want to be a master musician, pianist. How do I do that? The answer is you sit there at the keyboard and you practice and practice and practice and practice till you don't want to practice anymore, and then you practice some more. And that's how you get better. Now, whether you are amazing at it, whether you bring soul to your work or not, that I can't really help you with that. Just, some people have that or they don't. I think it's hard to, some people just have the ability to kind of create something that speaks to the soul, the heart. That's like the imagination piece of it. The composition. And I guess you could get a good starting point there is to emulate your masters, or the masters, right? Emulate the people that came before you. And if it's too kind of mundane or boring to just sit and draw, practice, because you need something else to kind of be a hack, so to speak. I guess you could emulate the artists that you like, maybe recreate their images or look at their work. But the danger there is that you become super reliant upon their work, and then your style becomes really just a reflection of your artistic hero's work rather than your own work. But I certainly started out trying to emulate the artists I really liked. But at some point, I realized that if I just kept going down that journey, that path, I would just be a poor person's so-and-so. Or, you could only aspire to be as partially as good as the people you're emulating. You could never really catch up and pass them, per se, because you're following their footsteps. Keyword being following. So if you're following someone's footsteps, you can't surpass them unless you do something decidedly unique that is yours. So that's, but I think that you get to that point after you figure out, can I draw this character? Can I draw this person from a 3/4 bird's eye point of view, etc., etc. Okay. Hopefully those are. Did I answer any of those questions? Yes, but not to my satisfaction would be the correct answer. Happy birthday to your daughter, 7 years old, magical age. Emmanuel, how long did it take to draw one page from X-Men in the 90s? They all take the same amount of time. Usually, it's a rare exception, it's 1 page a day. And certainly under deadline stress, I've done as many as, I think, 4 pages in a 24-hour span of time. I would not advise that. It's bad for your health. It's bad for your editor's health. And the pages aren't that great. But I do generally draw stories out of order if I have the whole script. And by that, if there's a 20-page or 22-page story, I don't start with page 1 and then end with page 22. I usually do start, though, with page 1. Just kind of get it going, and then I'll jump to the pages that kind of speak to me, or the more complicated set pieces, so to speak, and put more time and energy into those, knowing that I might run out of time towards the end of the deadline, as I sort of inevitably, invariably fall behind. And you don't want to always consistently fall behind the last page, because that will be very obvious and telling. So sometimes there's pages in the story that are more talky, that don't have like flashy backgrounds or special effects, and so you can save those for the end. And whether you do a spectacular job of 2 characters talking to each other or a mediocre job, it shows up less. Whereas if there's a spectacular fight scene and you rush it through, it's going to be pretty obvious that you ran out of time and couldn't put your all into it. So I think that's one shareable technique that I think makes sense. And if you can handle the continuity, sort of measuring and monitoring the continuity, and by that I mean, hey, if this character is holding an ice cream cone in this hand on this page and I jump to another page, I got to make sure that I keep that kind of story or visual continuity going. That is a challenge, and sometimes I screw up and have to fix it in Photoshop later, or it just gets through. Happens in film and TV business all the time as well, because they always shoot out of order. We've been to many a party together, Fletcher and I. It was at our wedding, my wife and I's wedding back in 2009, so we go back a ways. Fleetwood Mac Rumors LP. Gosh, it was probably, 1977? But even before then, I didn't buy it. My parents bought it for us. 8-track tapes, dude. We had an 8-track tape player, and then graduated to vinyl, and then cassettes came into vogue, and started buying and making my own cassette tapes. And then first CD was Dire Straits. Brother in Arms, I believe, was the album. Like I bought that 1985, 86, 86. I wish my answers were more, edgier. If they were just, wish they were edgier. Like my first LP was like the Sex Pistols, Never Mind the Bollocks. First 8-track tape, the Ramones, but no. Fleetwood Mac and Dire Straits. Okay, so it's got design here, and then this is all black in here. So let me show you another marker. That I think this is the chisel one. So if you look at this, see how that tip is wider, but if I turn it, it's narrow. And cover a little more ground with this. But it's also good for that kind of thing, calligraphy. Love you too, my wife. Yes. Yes. After a stint in Rikers or Arkham, Nightwing went to the dark side. Thank you, Daniel J. Bosco. You know, I'll have to talk to you, PK. Like, even as we take orders, I don't know if we need to necessarily collect the money per se. Maybe just get the list ready so we can reach out to people when it's time. We'll figure it out. PK also, excuse me, holds semi-regular weekly auctions of various things. He will send you, it's all in the Discord channel. If you guys are new, there's a Discord channel that is linked to this Twitch account, free to join. And if you are a sub, you get access to other areas. And I don't know if the shop is limited to subs or not. PK can confirm. So the thing about Discord is that it's kind of it fills in the gaps between the streams, allows you guys to get news and communicate with one another, sort of share time with other enthusiasts of comics and comic book art and prospective creatives who are looking to break in. Speaking of comic book art, like, I don't know if you guys follow like Heritage Auctions or not, but there are a couple auctions of my work in the most recent one. And a new record set for an interior page is from X-Men 270 or 271, I can't remember, but it's one of my favorite pages of Wolverine jumping out, attacking some magistrates from Genosha. I'm just shocked that I still remember these details. I always like the action, and then Psylocke as well shows up, and I always like the action on the page. It felt very kind of dynamic and you know, really trying to emulate some of the movement of like a Neil Adams page. And yeah, so that thing went for more money than I ever thought anything I would draw would go for back in the day. Which kind of made me wonder, like, why would I not have ever thought about it? Like, in a way, it was kind of incredibly short-sighted of me. Like, if there's anything if I could go back and tell my younger self, and I'm sort of saying it to you guys, as you guys are most likely younger than me or starting out your careers, is okay, we know what failure looks like. Like, it's easy to imagine, oh crap, like I'm going to put all this time and effort into drawing whatever career I want in graphic design or comic book art or screenwriting or whatever, pizza making. I know what failure looks like. Um, it looks just like now, because I haven't made it yet, right? Uh, no success. It's a challenge making money from what you want to do and struggle getting recognition, acclaim, all those things. And I think I had a sense of what success looked like, very on a very superficial level, which is the reverse of all those things I just said. So you're making money from doing the thing you love, you're getting recognition, um, um, you know. But there are varying degrees of success, and I don't know if I thought it through as much as I now think I should have. Because if you think about what success looks like in the future, but this would require me to be really ahead of my time and very challenging. Like back, 3 decades ago, like, okay, let's just assume I'm successful and this takes off. Where will my original art be? And I was selling comic book art back then for $25 a sketch. Original art pages might go for $100 to $400. A cover might be like $500 to $1,000, whatever. Right? And it kept going up slowly. But I just assume I was just charging more because I thought I could get that price, and I didn't want to be behind the market. But really, I should have been thinking about back then, like, okay, in extreme success, or in case A, B, and C, kind of like three different levels of success. What does this look like? Because that would have led to decisions that I would have made differently. Because I didn't think about it. I was just sort of doing it in the moment. The only good thing I did was like, all right, I always said, like, I'll hold on to some of my favorite pieces of art rather than sell everything as I went through. So I still have art from the X-Men, from Alpha Flight, Batman Hush, etc. Like from almost every project I've done. And if anything, I actually hold on to less of the stuff that's coming out now versus the older stuff, which I think is probably short-sighted. I got to rethink kind of. I'm not thinking about like what does life look like 15 years from now in regards to my career. All right. I'm selling almost all the stuff now more from the standpoint of I've got enough art in my collection. I don't really have room for more. It's a weird thing to say, but that's the truth. And so, but maybe I should think about it in a different way because that doesn't seem like a very good strategy. It sounds like something I'll regret like years from now. A lot of deep thoughts, guys, I realize. And if you're young, you're just like, what is he rambling on about? But I'm trying to give you the benefit of my experience in the years. So, B Swift 402, at what point in your career did you feel like you'd officially cemented your legacy in the comics industry? So here's the weird thing. I think you don't know what you don't know. So there were definitely times in my career where I felt like, oh, this is cool. I've kind of hit a new level, or I've kind of made it, quote unquote, made it. And then you realize later, like, oh no, there was a lot more upside. There was more room. It's hard to understand where you are in this sort of success curve, success graphic. But there were certainly moments, with almost every project, it created a new level of either success, recognition, whatever, sales. So I would say every project I worked on kind of unlocked some of that. But definitely X-Men #1 was huge. Um, Starting Image, but again, probably did not have the full awareness of the sort of the impact of Image back in the day. It was just something we wanted to do. But again, so to that extent, I wish I sort of had someone that was older than me, had been through the business a while, give me feedback. But then again, they might have dissuaded me from making some of the decisions I made. Some of those decisions might have been impulsive. I would think the generation that came before us would have been more deferential to the big two, less risk adverse, because the industry has changed. So that's all my free advice for today. Hopefully made a oh, it'll resonate with some of you. I realize it could be a challenge to kind of continue this because you don't know, like, wish there'd be more regularity in kind of it all. And maybe that's something I can commit to going forward if I can figure out. There's a lot going on these days with the merger, the return of the convention business. I'm excited. I think I'm going to. Good thing that this stream is just secret and it's just you guys and me. So one of my children got married. Some of you guys have congratulated me already on that in the stream. Thank you very much. And that was a lot. And so if any of you guys had a question, what do you do when you make a mistake? You get white out if it's inked, and you put it on, and you do it in a way that makes it look like it's not a mistake. And I'm gonna did that because it was again a little bit of almond shape. I was a little too exaggerated because that line connected, and then make a little reflection there. And then with this, I wanted to change the angle of his forehead. I see joke too far as a user. Is my wife spying on my stream? That's weird. Uh-oh, yeah, that's right, Scotty.